Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Open eCry market commentary for the week of August 5th. My name is Toby Gennaro from Trade with Precision, and just coming to you this week with the outlook for the markets. And let's take a look at the big cap stocks here on the S&P 500. So we're taking a look at the ES contract here on the monthly chart. And we just kicked off a new month here in August, had a very bullish candle there, close out for the month of July. And so we've had a lot of, we got some good overextension here on the monthly chart. Away from the moving averages, we've had this this incredibly long run up from this last bullish candle in the buy zone. Actually, basically two bullish candles right there, and almost a an 8-9 month run up right here. So we're due for probably a little bit of pullback. We just got to figure out when that's going to happen as we move over to the weekly chart. As you know, we just had that nice pullback about a month ago, and then we've been on basically a 5-week run, getting a little bit of overextension here for the moving averages on the weekly chart. And as we move down to the daily, we can see that we just got a series of setup candles here, a nice little consolidation. Once we got the break at the high, we moved up, put in a new high of right around 1705, I believe was the latest high. Let's just check that real quick. Yeah, 1705 was the latest high. And if we were to actually map out the daily candle here, the high and the low that we got, the high was 1689, the low was 1670. So basically a 19-point candle there, which is fairly large, but right in the buy zone. So if we take 19 points above the break of that high at 89, that would take us up to around 1708, 1709, somewhere around there. So we might have a few more points here to the upside on the S&P, but we're getting some divergence in, as you can see with some of these new highs. Getting some divergence here with lower highs on the indicators. Actually, one lower high here corresponding to this higher high, and then another lower high here corresponding to this higher high. So really a couple of divergence bumps there, and obviously there's a downtrend there in both the indicators. The MACD and the RSI tells us that this trend might be weakening a little bit. But whenever you get a lot of charts like this all moving in the same direction, it can move in that direction for a long time. But we not only have that on the 480 chart, but we also have that on the 240 as well. So we have some more highs right here, and then again right here almost had an equal high, but it actually is just a little bit of a lower high. And the indicators on the RSI have pretty much just about gone flat relative to at least this most recent high here, but they're still lower than this high back here. So we've got some divergence there on a couple of time frames, and then even on the 120. And just in this higher high right here, we've got some more divergence there, and then some more divergence here on the 60. So a lot of divergence from the 60-minute chart all the way up to the 480. So I'm anticipating a little bit of a pullback here, still bullish on the markets, but a couple of levels that we might want to look for and some opportunities to get along the market this week. I'm just looking down here at the 1695 level. Would be a reasonable short pullback. Would put us right back into the buy zone on the 480-minute chart, and then also that 1680 level could be a potential pullback. The 1695 is basically a 50% retracement from this most recent level right here at 1680 to the most recent high. So that tends to be, you'll see probably some buy orders accumulate there, but with a lot of the divergence there, we might see a pullback to maybe some of these levels around 1677, 1680, maybe even as deep as this level down here around 1670. So we'll just have to watch and see what the price action does. Once it pulls back, we'll get a little better idea as to what some of these levels might be. But for right now, I'd keep an eye out on the 1695 level. More than likely, we'll probably get some kind of a bounce there and move higher, at least back into that 1708, 1709 level, and then possibly some bounces here around that 1680 level. But overall, things are looking pretty bullish on the big cap stocks, and be looking to look for good opportunities to join this market to get long again once we get a pullback. And on the small cap stocks, looking at the Russell contract, same setup here on the monthly chart. You got some decent overextension there from the moving averages. Need to be looking for that pullback, but it just doesn't seem to be anywhere in sight as for this week. Right now, some of the levels here right at 1,000 would be a reasonable pullback on both the weekly and the daily chart. Got a little overextension here on the weekly chart, but not too bad. Got a pretty bullish candle there from last week, signifying things might be moving higher. Just put in basically an equal high or just a slightly higher high right around this 1058, 1059 level. Let's get a little precise with that. Yeah, 1059.60 was the high, and the high for The previous was 1057. So snuck in a higher high there last week, but really looks like it could be a double topping pattern there, but really not seeing it. The moving averages appear to be catching up to the price. Got a nice bullish candle, rejection candle right there in and around that buy zone. We do have some divergence here, similar to the ES chart, a little bit more severe on the 480, and we actually have some divergence here on the daily chart. Now, obviously, if the market really kicks up this week, then obviously more than likely these indicators will put in a new high, and then basically they'll just be converging. So we'll have to wait and see. We don't have a lot of fundamental news coming out this week. The markets are going to be, at least the news market's going to be fairly quiet. And so I just anticipate possibly the market just might be grinding higher here as we look at the 240-minute chart. Again, nice bullish candle there right in the buy zone. Once you get a break of the high of that level at around 1058. Well, let's actually see what the high is. The high is going to be 1058.10. Right around 1058.60. If we can get a break of the high of these groupings of candles, looks like we might be heading higher here to put in a new high for the Russell contract. We do have some divergence. Well, actually, no, we don't, because we don't have an equal or a higher high. So there's no divergence there. The market's just, the indicators are really just following the price action. So it looks potentially, there's almost 3 touches there on a flat level. We got a swing low, we got a higher low, and if we start to get these candles consolidating out here, they could be breaking through for the momentum breakout trade right here. So things are looking pretty bullish here on the small cap stocks as well. So I'd just be looking for opportunities for the pullbacks to occur. So one pullback level is going to be all the way back to this 1,000 level, but it doesn't look like that's really going to be in the cards for some time. If we look at some of these other charts, one level might be here right around, see, even then it's right around 1056, maybe something down here around 1052, and then possibly something around this level right here at 1048 might be a decent one for a respectable pullback based on some of that divergence on the 480 chart. If we get another move up higher, we'll probably get some more divergence on some of these other charts that might initiate a pullback, and then obviously the solid pullback level will be right back to that flat level right there at 1035. So a couple of levels there to keep an eye on, but for right now it looks like we're going to be moving higher into the early part of the week, and then we'll just have to see what sets up on the charts and see if we can get pullbacks to some of these levels to start to get long this market again. Looking then at the final instrument here, the dollar Swiss pairing. If you've been following this for any length of time, you know it's been in a significant downtrend here on the monthly chart. And what caught my eye here was just a couple of bearish candles here in the sell zone. This one just last month that set up with the low being right around 92.272, and then this is the current month candle right here, and the low being 92.523. So pretty close to potentially breaking the low of that candle. That's not really the setup that I'm looking for, but I'm just looking for some guidance and direction on the higher time frames. We also have a fairly bearish candle there in the sell zone as well. Things are obviously all the moving averages in alignment, the 20 or the 200, the 50, the 20, the 10, and then looking at things are a little bit jumbled up here on the weekly chart. But you can still see the 200, the 50, the 20, and the 10. Not everything is in correct alignment, but if we get a break at that level, you can see the market's pretty much rolling over, and all these moving averages easily get back into alignment for potentially a run down to maybe some of these other levels we might want to keep an eye on, right around 90, 185, and then around this 89 level as well. So we have a nice setup here on the trend flow strategy. We have just a nice momentum here for basically the last couple weeks. The 50, the 20, the 10 moving averages in alignment over to the downside. Don't always need the 200 period moving average in line. We can work with the first three, and we have a nice bearish candle there right in the sell zone. Get a break of the low of that candle, which is right around 92.732, and we're currently sitting at 92.755, so pretty close to breaking the low of that candle. If we get the break of the low of that candle, probabilities tell us that we make a move down to this next level right around that 91 level, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. But really the same setup here on the 480 chart. Nice, actually a couple of setup candles back there, and then one nice solid bearish candle there. We get a break of the low of that one. That'll coincide with the daily chart. We have our 2 time frames set up, and we're looking to take this market going with the momentum to the downside. And so as you can see, all the charts rolled over. So it looks like a fairly solid trade. Looking for that trend flow setup. If you haven't taken that, check out the advanced course on the website, and we'll show you how to trade that strategy and how to basically buy pullbacks in an uptrend and how to sell these rallies in a downtrend. So that's kind of what the dollar Swiss looks like for the early part of this week. So there's the market outlook for the week. We'd like to thank you all for watching the Open Ecri market commentary for the week of August 5th, and we look forward to speaking to you next week on the market update.